Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be painting up Aberrants for the third time, again, but for the last time because I would have reached my theoretical limit as far as collecting GW stuff for non-troop squads. Having 2 full squads of elites or something else like that is good enough. And so moving on to the paints. So here are all the paints I used, and I assembled them fully. Only some of their arms or hands I didn't assemble because it would get in the way of painting, and then I primed them all with my black primer. So I wanted to start with dark colors for this, and I wanted to build up to light. We're not going to do anything fancy, but we're going to stick to the purple, the traditional look on the box art, purple skin, bluish features here and there, but I've gotten much better of a painter, and the first 10 that I painted in this method look pretty bad compared to the last one. Well, they don't look bad, but they look like they're scrub troops. So, alright, I forgot to get a picture of the paints I used, but basically, Nagaroth Knight, Xerxes Purple, Daemonette Hide, and Pallid Witch Flesh. We will use these for painting the purple parts of their skin. Now, do note that there's part of their skin that is also going to end up blue-ish, and we'll work on that transition later. But basically, the majority of their skin is going to be this, their feet as well. So we can start off with a layer of Nagaroth Knight all over. Now, initially, I want to try, I try using a dry brush because I wanted to try stippling to see if that could get a good effect. But the way their bodies are, I can't really get a good stippling effect anywhere into them. So I've originally started applying paint with a dry brush, which actually covers very quickly. I was genuinely surprised. I'm gonna memory hold that technique for the future. And so, but while trying to do the stippling thing, I eventually switched to mostly dry brushing, and I go with Xerxes Purple dry brushing all over. Then I switched to Daemonette Hide, dry brushing all over, focusing on more of the raised areas and stuff. And I was thinking I could probably build some good layers, build up shadow, get a textured look onto their skin and stuff, and then move on to add some paint lines to sharpen everything. And then I get to a mix of Daemonette Hide with a little bit of Pallid Witch Flesh to add on top, and I couldn't reach all the areas, and so I basically hit the most prominent areas with the colors and stuff. So it didn't look good, but it did have a good base coloring and a good transition of colors from the dark to the light. And once I reached that point, I then went back with Daemonette Hide and Pallid Witch Flesh, and basically with a fine brush, I just got straight down to painting horizontal slashes along some of their parts of their body to create like a textured look, highlighting raised areas or stuff, basically painting tons of lines, not painting like flat areas, just like constant slashing everywhere on all their bodies and stuff. And then once that was done, I basically did it again, but like much less, about half of what I painted before, with more Pallid Witch Flesh, so it was brighter, and I painted it onto the most raised parts of their muscles where the light would be hitting and stuff. And it creates some pretty nice striations for their muscles. It's like these guys being very nice physical bodybuilders really lends to this particular style of painting. It works with them. And now, once that was all done, essentially, it was still kind of a mess for a smoothing transition. So what I did was I took Nagaroth Knight, diluted it heavily into a wash, then I applied a wash pretty much all over to tie the colors together for any extremeness, a very thin wash. And then I applied another wash in like the shadows, the recesses, and stuff. And I actually repeated this because the wash was so thin, gave me more control. I probably did this like 3 or 4 times on them to build up a layer of shadows, like on their stomach if they were leaning forward, their chin, their feet. Their feet a lot because I really screwed those up, and it really like fixed some things. And so that helped blend things together, made the transitions look better. Yeah. Alright, with Calidor Sky, Cantor Blue, and Baharoth Blue, it's our first real big attempt at getting the blue parts right. So first off, Calidor Sky, the mid-tone. The plan going in was mid-tone, then paint the recesses directly, then add a wash to help blend them together, then redo the mid-tones, then start applying some of the highlight color in some blends. That didn't work too well. I don't know what it is, but blues seem to escape me, so basically, Calidor Sky all over. Then once that was done, what I did was I took Calidor Sky, watered it down heavily into a wash, and then I started doing like applications where the purple skin was, so there would be a color transition. So I would touch like far into the purple skin and drag down towards the blue areas. And I repeated this once or twice. Thinner washes, you have to keep redoing them, but it gives you more control. And then I was able to make it so that it looked like their purple skin was transitioning to blue to where the blue areas were. So far, great. Then I went with Cantor Blue, painted in the recesses directly, basically dents, folds, stuff like that. Then I did apply the wash and stuff. Then I did Calidor Sky, which I basically painted horizontal or slashes along all their bodies and stuff. I didn't want to do that. I thought it could make the paint more smoother, but it just didn't look right. So it was a combination of painting the flat areas and doing like vertical slashes or along them. And I started mixing in some Baharoth blue to highlight the certain areas and stuff, but it was a bit too much sometimes. So basically I kept highlighting, adding more Baharoth blue to Calidor Sky. Some of the highlights were a bit too much, so I went back with Cantor Blue as a wash to tie things back down. And so basically, the dark wash that you made from Cantor Blue helped to normalize the bright colors if it was too much and stuff like that. I'm not really sure how I ended up getting it right. It was just me banging my head against the wall, repeating the same steps over and over. So on paper it seems straight. It's because this isn't skin. This is like some armor that melds to their flesh. It's like Tyranid chitin and stuff, or chitin, however you want to pronounce it. Yeah, so I bumbled my way to victory, essentially. I had to repeat it many times, but this is essentially what I did. Alright, with Pallid Witch Flesh and Magos Purple, we're going to paint those things between their arms and stuff. Alright, so basically, Pallid Witch Flesh all over in the gaps, and then Magos Purple pure on it. Kind of works. And later I go back and I sort of shore up the lines with a mix of Calidor Sky and Baharoth Blue again to fix it. Alright, with Steel Legion Drab, Agrax Earthshade, and Baneblade Brown, we're going to paint their jeans, or pants, or stuff. So there's going to be a lot of different colored clothing, essentially, on all these guys, like red tabards and their armor and stuff like that. So this is a good, like, in-between color, and their belt will be different. So basically, Steel Legion Drab all over, pure Agrax Earthshade, and then basically a lot of horizontal vertical slashes all over their pants with Steel Legion Drab. And then I re-highlight a bit with Baneblade Brown on the more raised areas, more prominent flat areas and stuff. We're creating textures, like we're just painting tons of lines and it somehow works. Yeah. And once that's done, I actually take some Lamian Medium, mix a little bit of Agrax Earthshade to dilute it, to smooth it out, and then I apply it on the pants as like a final color to tie everything together in case some highlights are a bit too much or stuff. Yeah. Alright, on to the red cape tabard thingies. So, Corn Red, Evil Sun Scarlet, Troll Slayer Orange, and Fire Dragon Bright. We're going to be painting their, tabards, cloaks. It's not their pants. So first I'm going to start off with Evil Sun Scarlet, mid-tone all through. I'm going to take Corn Red, which is the recesses shading. We're going to apply it directly into the recesses. Then we're going to turn it into a wash, and we're going to apply it all over. Then I'm going to take Evil Sun Scarlet again, and with like a dry brush and stipling, we're going to apply it all over. With one of those Artist Opus ones, my one that I spent like 30 bucks on, it broke, if you can imagine that. Basically, the bristles fell into the thing, so I had to pull them out with pliers and then crushed the metal thing to keep it there and turned it from a round dry brush into a rectangle basically. But now it works. And so stippling all over, you'd think it'd be better if after you paid that much money, by the way. And with Troll Slayer Orange, it's the same thing, stippling all over. And then I got to Fire Dragon Bright, and then I just painted all the edges, highlights, sharp points and stuff here and there, and it looks nice. Alright, with Corvus Black and Dawnstone, I'm going to paint their belts. Basically, I started with Dawnstone and painted the entirety of their belt Dawnstone. Then I went with Corvus Black and painted the middle of their belts, because this is easier than doing these really tiny little highlights on the top and bottom of these tiny little things. So, for a vast majority of it, this is what I did, reverse highlighting. But I did have to go back with Dawnstone in some areas because I messed up the curvature because the belts move in a certain way to just fix some things here and there. But you need a good brush for that. Alright, with Administrative Grade, not Dawnstone, I didn't use it in the end, and Corvus Black, we're going to paint their armor panels. So here's basically what I'm going to do. Administrative Gray, all over. Then with Corvus Black, I'm going to turn to a wash and apply directly in the recesses. Then I'm going to re-highlight everything with Administrative Gray, which is just basically the edges and stuff, and I might overbrush on some areas here and there in the middle to fix some stuff if the Corvus Black wasn't washed well enough. Yeah, a little bit of back and forth, but that's basically what I did. Alright, with Guilliman Flesh, Genestealer Purple, Hobgrot Hide, Agrax Earthshade, and Uriel Yellow, we're going to paint the faces in more detail. So first, Genestealer Purple, paint their tongues. And with Guilliman Flesh, Pure, apply it onto their tongues and the inside of their mouths. Then, go back with Genestealer Purple and highlight the most raised areas and feather out a little bit along the sides of their tongue and stuff. The guy I show is the easiest tongue to film. There are like a few others have some tongues out, so yeah. Then, with the Agrax Earthshade, we will apply directly a very small amount into their eyes, their eye sockets and stuff to create like eyeshadow or to make it stand out more. Then we will apply Hobgrot Hide into their eyes, very carefully. You need a good brush for this. And then Uriel Yellow, like a dot of it in the center of their eyes to like show their brightness. I'm not going to do pupils. I wanted to do the glowing eye thing. Alright, and with AKA Ultra Matte Varnish and Anti-Shine Matte Varnish from the Army Painter, I'm going to paint seal them in. So first, 2 coats of Ultra Matte Varnish all over the model, watered down slightly to get rid of the whiting effects of it. Then I did a 1-to-1 mix of both of these to create this somewhat matte, somewhat shine, which brings out the shadows and makes them look sort of like a nice sheen on their skin. Apply it all over, like twice, I believe. And then once that's done, I use the Anti-Shine Matte Varnish onto their tongues, because this thing is kind of a shiny thing. I don't know why it's called Anti-Shine. Whatever. Alright, with Corvus Black, Doombull Brown, Iron Wars, and Rise of Rust, we're going to paint the metal, essentially. So, Corvus Black all over. I'm not even going to bother really with doing heavy metals and stuff. I'm just going to have it as for chips and stuff. And once that's done, I'm going to take Doombull Brown, and I'm essentially going to dry brush it, stipple it all over. Yeah. Lightly in some areas. This is more of an artistic thing, so have at it. Then, with Iron Warriors, very thinly, I'm going to apply like little scratches on it. You need a fine brush for this, and you need to just barely touch it. And the points where the front of the hammers are, or the pickaxes, I just kept doing these little scratches until it created a natural like point where naturally the paint or any rust would naturally go off because it's been hit so many times there. And then with Rise of Rust, I lightly apply it here and there. So essentially with the Iron Warriors and Rise of Rust, you want very little of it. You want it just to be there to be noticeable, but you don't want it to be overpowering, essentially. This is a bit of an artsy thing back and forth. Just do what you think looks nice, but less is more in this case. Always start with less because you can always add more. Reducing is nearly impossible. And done. Just quick glue them together and apply them to some basic bases that are already magnetized. So, I am done with Aberrants. I just need 1 box of Genestealers and I will finally have an army. Stop getting cucked by GW's balance updates, nerfing their points into the ground. Oh my goodness. But anyway, I've had Aberrants and Aberrants because that's just simply what I ended up buying from starter box sets. didn't intend for them to be the mainstay of my army. I was hoping for more infantry, but those are annoying to build. So anyway, as far as these models go, they stick to the purple skin, bluish chitin, whatever, armor and stuff. They're far better than the first 10 that I've painted. They're very, very well done. They have a lot more texture, more flavor. They seem a bit better, and the black undercoat and stuff really does stick out. Their shadows and stuff. So hard contrast and stuff. The shine, the matte varnish, and the ultra matte combined does have a good look to it. It looked a little bit chewy, cartoony, like flat when it was all matte. It looked bad, but the matte just being on their cloth parts, their pants and their tabards and stuff, that it worked well. But with their skin, having that depth and that shine really brought out the shadows, made the light better. They looked better, like noticeably, night and day. These guys they didn't take long, but I really screwed up on the blues. It took me a while to get something that was passable, and I took breaks when I screwed up because I just couldn't take the mess ups. I was like, dang it, I planned for this, but it didn't work out. Apart from that, I didn't bother painting their nails. Meh. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And, yeah, the nails are basically just black. And apart from that, pretty good. Pretty good. I'm finally done with Aberrants. If I have any more Aberrants in my army, I borrowed them or found a suitably interesting model that I can sub in as them. Yeah, overall they turned out very, very good. I would probably say these are definitely a solid 8 out of 10. Their weapons are okay, but they're noticeably stand out different. It's like metals escape me, but these look pretty good. They're like old, rusted. I'm not fully sure what I could have done a bit better. I just genuinely don't know for the weapons. Not sure. Maybe one day I'll figure it out. It'll click. But yeah, they look good. And so this will probably be the last video of the year that comes out. So for all of you, Merry Christmas. I already know I'm gonna get what I'm getting, probably. And Happy New Year to you all, and see you all in 2025. Yeah, have a good time, y'all. Bye.